Hi everyone, this is Kyle with kayDbait. I'm going to be doing a very special video today on debate. And the reason I'm doing this video is because I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos with Bill O'Reilly, Stephen Colbert, and Jon Stewart, as well as other guest stars on their shows. And what I've noticed in the way they talk to each other, and the way they talk to their audience, and the way they talk to the people they are interviewing and interrogating in some regards, is the pinnacle of debate and conversation ability, where they don't just talk to the person they're talking to. They talk for a reason. Bill O'Reilly has his own agenda. Stephen Colbert has an agenda. All of these people that are really good at debate have a reason why they say the things they say, whether it's for the viewer or to make the person that they're talking to look a certain way. There's a lot of different reasons people talk. And sadly, one of the reasons that the most prominent speakers of the world talk is for a very specific agenda. And while I respect their ability to debate greatly, Bill O'Reilly is probably one of the best speakers, the best debating people that I have ever met in his ability to debate. Not necessarily his reasoning, and definitely not his information. But as a person who uses their ability and talent, he is at the top of the tier. You cannot find somebody that is better than him in the way he does it. He has all... I'm going to focus on Bill O'Reilly because the other two people are more comedians than people that want to sway, but they do, in their own regard, have that as well. Bill O'Reilly will have all of these things going for him. He has his stature. He's a large man. He has a seat of authority in his own show where he actually sits above you. And you sit in a chair that's slightly back. You don't have the authority. You look and you are in a stance of inferior, almost judgment from him because you are on his show. And if you go against the grain, you are the one that is wrong. He regularly brings up, you are in my house, you are in my show, you are being unfair, or you are being, there's a lot of words he uses to say, you shouldn't be saying that, in a way that the audience will think, yes, they are not being respectful to Bill O'Reilly on his own show. How could you go on, be invited onto his show and then disrespect him? And he'll bring it up. It's like if you went into their house and spat on their floor, that's not good. I have every right to be angry at you. That's a tactic. He is not personally offended. Maybe he is, but most of that is bound to be that he wants to make you look bad because it makes him look good by comparison, and his arguments seem more valid. It is not actually a valid argument, because if you are invited to his show because of whatever you are involved in a serious political situation, you were a prominent figure in a certain group, for whatever reason, maybe you're an expert, and you get invited. If his agenda is not to inform the public of what you have in your mind and experiences to share, if that is not his agenda, he is wrong. If he brought you on to demean and demoralize or make the audience feel that you are not good, then that is a very negative and damaging agenda, and it is not fair. It is not what debate was meant for. It's not what the medium of the news was meant for. They are not designed, and they should not be used to change the world for their own benefit. They should not have a political agenda. It is the media. It is supposed to, in design, inform the factual nature of how and why things happen. If they try to change your view as the viewer to what they want you to see, then that is not the media, that is not the news anymore. That is a political agenda from an organization pretending to be the news. And that is damaging to everything involved. It's damaging to the person that gets invited to the show and is treated harshly. That is, their name is slandered, their occupation, maybe they've suffered emotional duress. Whatever happened to them from this act, maybe their reputation is tarnished. Maybe that they get harassed. For whatever reason, being brought onto a show, invited to a show, that they have a different viewpoint as you. That is not the same thing as being yelled at, insulted, called names, demeaned in this massive media setting where the nation sees you and you are publicly humiliated for no reason than having a different viewpoint than the host of a media-driven company. If you have to fight the media for truth, then the media is wrong and should be held accountable for acts of slander and defamation of character and misinforming the public. Bill O'Reilly is not always wrong, but the way he informs people of very specific things that are not necessarily put in the correct and clear context, then he is not using fact for information. He is using fact to push his own agenda, and that is wrong. That is morally and societally, it's damaging. So when he does that, when I continuously see him fight for one thing and not care who gets caught in the crossfire, whether it be the people involved, the companies involved, or the political parties that are being destroyed, not just Democrats, not just the Republicans who are associating with what he says, but third-party candidates or people that are for or against a certain political ideology as opposed to political party. Those people are not being given the opportunity to speak what is true. They are being herded. They are being bamboozled into a situation they cannot win, and in the end are forever, their entire reputation, their entire career could be ruined because of this. Not to mention that their emotional stress and emotional stability is threatened, and no one ever should have that power over somebody else. If I am invited onto the O'Reilly factor, which I probably will not be ever in my life, but if I ever was, I would be afraid. I would be emotionally stressed because I know what he can do if I make a mistake. Or not even a mistake, but if I say something that can be used against me, whether it be fairly or unfairly, words twisted, especially since he has a continuous fan base and I am a one-time event. If I were to say something about my political beliefs and it is not completely and ultimately unchangeable with time, then all he has to do is wait a month and mention my name in passing, and it can damage my reputation further than what probably would have already happened in the first show. I am an articulate speaker when given time to prepare. You cannot prepare against somebody that is also controlling the situation and conversation topics. You can have a generalized idea of what they will say, but not what spin they will put on it. And you cannot understand where his mind will go because you don't know what his agenda is. You can guess, you can assume, but you can never know. And that is not fair. When you are having a political discussion, you are to inform the other person of what your stance is first. Because if you do not, you are not having a fair debate, you are having an attempted massacre. You are trying to ambush somebody mentally. That is not how the news works. That is not how it should work. You shouldn't have to be weary of somebody who has power because they have this agenda that is not for everyone. It is an agenda for themselves and for their own their supporters, their contributors. Those are the kinds of people that damage society, especially when they have power. Bill O'Reilly has a very, very large fan base, a very large group of people that watch him and get their information from him. And when he does this, and he is not being factual and informative to the public, and only to the people that already agree with him, what he is doing is damaging and splitting the parties even further. He's splitting people that watch his show and people that disagree with his show, whether they watch it or not. He's splitting people. He's saying the informed and the misinformed. There's such a strong split because people think that he's being completely honest, and he's not. There are some things he says that are true, but he's doing it in a way that is not contextually fair and accurate. So that's my video for today. What do you guys think? Take care. Peace.